Welcome to Co-Play Media, a look inside the world of video games, anime, and the Blerd community. And now, here are your hosts, Diers and Demo.
And welcome to Co-Play Media. Today we got here a very special guest. We have the executive officer of Silver Canon, a board game store out here in Baltimore, man. How you doing today, Alex?
Hi, I'm doing well.
It's great to have you. Are you actually from Baltimore, or are you from somewhere else and moved here?
No, I'm actually from Northern Virginia originally.
Okay.
Yeah,
awesome.
Down outside DC, south of Fairfax Station area.
Oh, that area is beautiful.
Yeah. Oh, I loved growing up there. It was really nice. It was that like really upper middle class kind of setting and stuff, close to the border of Prince William. It's Prince William, not Prince George. Prince George is Maryland.
Yeah. Prince Williams. Yeah,
I always forget the two.
Always get them confused as well, you know.
Yeah, there's too many princes around here.
Yeah, a lot of Prince Williams, Prince Georges, plazas. So how have you been coping with COVID since everything has started? Like, have you been going out less? Have you been still cooped up? Does it affect business?
I've been coping with it pretty well until yesterday when I came down with it. I tested positive.
Oh man!
I managed to not have to deal with it for 2 years, and I caught it. A friend of mine was coming down to go to Otakon actually, and I guess she must have caught on the flight. I don't know. I'm not blaming nobody for it, but
you know what? I think the same thing happened to me. It was like the one time that I left. I went out to LA for work, came back, and it had to be on the flight because I remember there was a guy who was fighting with the stewardess about keeping his mask on. Mm-hmm. And I was like, if I get it, this is how it's going to happen to me right here, this moment right here. Man, but you look great though. Like you look like you're doing pretty good.
I'm feeling way better than I was yesterday. Yesterday I was kind of tired and didn't want to eat much stuff and just But no, today I'm doing better. But prior to this, COVID kind of I moved to the city in January of 2021, mm-hmm. And even to this day, I haven't gotten as much chance as I would like to really go out and explore around the city as much as I would. Because I used to live in Richmond, Virginia, for a few years to go to college.
Yeah.
And I did at least a lot more exploration there than I would now because, things were closed. You didn't want to go out. You didn't want to spend unnecessary time running around the place.
Yeah. I mean, you didn't want to get COVID. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Well, with everything going on, have you been playing a lot more games? Are you playing what games have you been playing recently?
Recently, let's see. Recently, I've been going back and playing Diablo 2 for the PC.
Nice.
But I've been playing a modded version of it that cranks everything up to 11 in terms of just weird customization. What? And it's ridiculous.
Harder?
Yeah, a little bit. But the thing that I like about a lot, I like finding things and I'll admit there's some part of me that does love all the random rolls and things like that when you play a game. That feeling of, I got a cool thing coming out. And I know games like to kind of capitalize on that these days. Yeah. And take you for a ride on that. But there's something I still liked about that feeling. So this turns that feeling up to 11. There's just a whole bunch of cool stuff that you can get in it. So I've been playing that just on my own time. But otherwise, I've been playing with my friends. I've been playing Monster Hunter Rise on PC.
Really? How is it?
Oh, it's fun. I played Monster Hunter World with them a couple of years ago when it was still fresh. But
I played Monster Hunter. Monster Hunter is like a hard, challenging but great game. Oh
yeah. But I decided I wasn't content with just using the same stuff, playing the same weapons in the game that I played when I played World. So I started an entirely new weapon this time and I'm having as much fun as I ever did.
For real, I always stuck with the hammer, man. I stayed with the hammer.
Me too.
Yeah,
me too.
I'm trying to crack skulls, dog.
Exactly. I was like, what's an easy weapon to start this game with? I'm trying all of them, and it's just like, oh, you mean the hammer just bonks things in the head constantly?
Yep.
All right, sure. No, yep. I played hammer. I played lance in the original in World, and this time I'm playing switch axe.
Switch axe seems kind of hard. See, I've never gotten that like you build up bars to switch up the blade.
Yeah.
I never got that down. Like it
seems a bit easier in Rise because there's some skills to make the bar go back up and skills to prevent it from going down. But I'm getting used to it. The thing that I like about these games is that if you're playing a new weapon, you might be 50, 60 hours in and suddenly you realize, wait, I have this move that I can do in my moveset. This is what this does.
You're telling me I can jump spin? I can jump spin in the air with the hammer?
I can hop off a ledge and then do an aerial with it to hop back and ignore gravity and all the forces of physics and just bonk somebody off of a ledge? Absolutely.
I want to do it. I want to crack the skull. That's awesome, man. I wish I played. I might get back into that. And I hear Rise with the new beetle system or something. Yeah. It's like more vertical or something like that.
It is. Yeah. You can kind of hop up and around and climb up walls and stuff. It doesn't play too much into the battle. Like you don't usually climb up a wall and hop off of it to jump on a dude, but sometimes you can. But you can traverse around, pick up all sorts of items up on the cliffs now. It's kind of neat.
Yeah.
Plus, the moves that they gave you in battle open up tons of possibilities.
Mad combos.
Mm-hmm. Everything can be aerial now.
That's tight. Oh, I want to play that game. That's like setting me up for like 60 hours right there. I've heard of this game called Trails of Cold Steel. And I'm trying to play it from beginning to end. So there's like 5 versions of it. And I heard it was like a game that was like Persona 5 because I beat Persona 5 Royal. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, I'm trying to find something like it. And like the system is the same. And I've been playing that. I'm toxic with League of Legends. You know what I'm saying?
I played a little bit of League, but not for too long. I played it for maybe about 6 months with some friends, same friends I played and played Monster Hunter with, and really? it was fine. I kind of got into it right after. I think they made all these big changes to the rune system. It was. Oh
yeah, the runes are complicated, man.
Yeah,
the runes are really complicated.
I played it a little bit. We mostly played bots and ARAM, mm-hmm. and that was it was always challenging.
Yeah, ARAM is nice. Like I started playing ARAM. It's way better. It's like just get straight to the fighting. Like get straight to the fighting.
Yeah.
Learn how everybody else plays.
But I think the hardest part for me was just like there's so much to learn about it, and there's so much about like optimal, like what do you level up first, and what do you purchase first, and how do you do? And it's like I feel like I gotta have spreadsheets open on the side of the thing. I was like, I'm playing the game, and I'm always asking my friend who's got way more time in it, and like every skin in the game.
Yep.
What do I do?
He's invested in you using the right runes and weapons too. Like he wants you to have it.
He's super casual about it, actually. No, he's not like a problem about it or anything. But it's like he knows so much about it that I'm like, well, what do I do? What should I do? Because it's like it's all treated. Everyone, even if it's just the social ones, the non-competitive ones, everyone still treats these matches like life and death.
Yeah.
And so it's like, well, if I'm just trying to play around, I can't really do that because everyone's so
serious.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it was fun, but yeah, I fell off it eventually.
I had to get face checked. Like, I know exactly what you're talking about. It was so complicated. It was like, yo, I need supporting software for my video. It's like the first time it's like, I need supporting software for my game. You know what I'm saying? Like, I need a booklet that can be applied to my game to help me because I don't know what but I still enjoy it. I enjoy the challenge of it.
Sure. I can see the challenge. I can see the appeal of it. Absolutely. But it's one of those things. I've never been super competitive with games, so it's hard, it's easy for me to bounce off if a game's getting too much that way.
Yeah, totally. Are you big in anime? Are you a big anime watcher?
Not as much as I used to. When I was like, so I'm 32. Back when I was I went to college twice. The first time I went to college was right 18 to 21 or so, and back then I was watching it a little bit more, but I did watch this season. There was a Spy X Family, which I watched.
Oh, it was
that
good?
Was super good. I'm so sad that it's like they're definitely setting up for like 3 or 4 seasons or something like that. So like the first season kind of just ended. It didn't even have like a cliffhanger going on in it. They're really just setting it up for when this is all finally done. You just like sit down and binge 50 episodes or whatever. But no, the show's really fun. If you haven't heard of it, it's like there's it's set in like a kind of alternative Cold War style setting where there's like these European style countries, and they're like in a Cold War. It's not actually Earth or whatever, because these countries don't exist at all.
Okay,
but it's that kind of setting. There's this tension between two countries that could go to war at any time. The peace is really tenuous. And it follows the main character, who is a spy, and he's one of the best that there is, and he's working to prevent a war from breaking out. And his mission is to get close to the opposing country's basically defense minister. But the best way that he can do that is by getting close to him at a very prestigious elementary school. So he has to find a daughter and a wife so that he can get the daughter accepted into this extremely prestigious school. So
that's a cool story.
Yeah, but it complicates it because he's got to keep a cover story. His wife that he finds, it turns out she's also got a complicated cover story where she's actually a secret assassin. And then the daughter doesn't know this, but she is actually a telepath.
So she knows what's going on with both of them.
She knows what's going on with both of them. She thinks it's awesome, but nobody knows what's going on with her. So it's all of her idiosyncrasies coming on from being a telepath. It bases around like, she's young and kids do weird things.
Yeah.
Oh, it was a lot of fun. Absolutely.
That's tight. That's tight. I'm definitely gonna check it out. I've been watching Realistic Hero? Realistic Way to Be a Hero?
No, I haven't heard that one. I don't know that one.
I know I'm saying it wrong. Realistic. How a realist hero rebuilt the kingdom. And it's about like a realist hero who is like, he went to college. He's really good on like civil stuff.
Yeah.
And like literally rebuilds the kingdom. I don't know. It works for me.
Okay.
But enough about that, man. Like, tell me about Silver Canon, dog. Tell me about Silver Canon. What inspired you to work with board games?
All right. So back in late 2020, my friend and my boss, name's Jason, and he kind of came to me, invited me up to Baltimore. He'd moved up here a couple of years ago, and he was like, "I have this idea to create a board game store," and he I was kind of between jobs at the time. I was temporarily working for a friend, but I needed something more permanent.
Yeah.
And I was looking to just kind of take something that came along. So he's like, are you interested in helping found this thing? And I just decided, yeah, you know what? I'll take that. I'll take the risk. I'll move up to Baltimore, and we'll see what we can do. And I'd played, I as you can see from what's going on behind me, I'm mostly in like the video game space, but I have played board games and all that in the past. So it wasn't going to be completely foreign to me. Yeah. The other thing is that Silver Canon, while we talk about ourselves as a board game store because it's kind of easier to do, we do also serve video games and trading cards and stuff like that at the same time. I noticed that. Yeah. Yeah. In fact, the majority of our sales have been online on eBay selling video games and such, because that helps keep the lights on.
So eBay is still fire. Like you never hear people talking about buying and selling on eBay anymore. Like,
oh yeah.
And I want to get into the details of what you guys are selling before, but it's like, do you guys also cover conventions?
We don't yet. We want to go to conventions, but the table fees are often a little too high for us. Like we looked into, like, Otakon is this weekend, or was this weekend.
It's this weekend, yeah.
And the table fee there was something like $1,100 or whatever.
What? $1,100?
Yeah, it was a lot.
Yo, I went to BlerdCon, right? Like I went to BlerdCon. I go there on a regular basis. My sister does some vending and stuff. The tables there were like $250.
Yeah.
You know, like $250, $300. Like,
I mean, we are we're set up to vend at a table at the Pigtown Festival in October.
Nice.
Yeah, and we got a discounted rate for being a local business in there, and it's like nowhere near close to anything Otakon would have charged. It was like we paid like $25. It was a special. Yeah. It was a special rate for local business.
$1,100. Like, what are you planning?
They're big. I mean, they're the biggest one for this, but I guess that's what they figure they can do. I mean, to be fair, it is the biggest one, the biggest anime convention, I think, on, if not the East, just the East Coast, then like kind of the US.
It's not bigger than Dragon Con.
Oh, well, that's true. That's true.
Dragon Con. What else is bigger? Because I frequent a lot of them. I started going for MomoCon. I loved MomoCon. That was great.
But yeah, I haven't been too much into the convention scene as of late. But it would be something that we definitely want to do in the future. Like, even if it's just smaller ones that come into the area.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, I think you guys would make a killing in there, and I think that people should definitely be more into board games and more into card games and have a little bit, like one of my friends are into card games, and I did not know that there is a whole society and there's a whole tournament rounds and people are making money and that there's a lot of money that goes into it. I was looking at some of the items online, and even just cards online was ranging from a couple of dollars to like $25 to like $100. And I'm like,
oh yeah, absolutely. Cards can kind of go all over the place depending on what you're playing. There's three main card games that I would classify, kind of the main ones that most people take a look at. You got Magic the Gathering is number one.
Oh yeah.
You got Pokemon and you have Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yeah.
With Pokemon, people play Pokemon, but I feel like most people are collecting these days. It's just my opinion on that. But I feel like I never knew anyone who like actually played the game. I didn't play the game back when I was collecting them at age 9 and 10, but I didn't play it really. I didn't know how to play it.
Yeah, like it seemed like a complex game to play, and there was like a whole bunch of stuff that was going into it. And Pokemon, like I remember Pokemon was a fierce game even back when I was younger. Like,
oh yeah,
people were getting robbed for Pokemon cards. Like people were breaking in and stealing Pokemon cards. I remember Charizard was the craziest Pokemon card.
Still is.
How much would a Charizard card go for right now?
Okay, so there are a couple different ones, but the original ones, the original Charizards, basically they go for something like, they can go like $500 or whatever.
Good googly.
Or more.
Good googly.
Yeah. Like, I'm gonna let me look it up real fast. Let me see if I can even find it. Oh, there's no way I'm going to find it. There's too many Charizard cards. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. An original Charizard. This is from the first printings, basically. Market price on it, and granted, you don't. If you just want a low, like to own one, you don't care about condition. It's lower, but the market price on TCG Player right now is almost $800.
$800. 800. That's 2 PS5s.
I know.
For a card. Okay.
Well, that's for collectors' purposes at that point, because you don't need to the card. I don't even know if it's playable these days. It might be, but who knows? Meanwhile, so Pokemon, I think, is really in a collectibles phase more than anything else, because there was a whole bunch of stuff that happened like last year with YouTubers making a big deal out of Pokemon cards, and it kind of skyrocketed the price and demand on it all. So these prices are way up compared to what you would have seen a couple of years ago.
So I work in IT, right? And I'll never forget the time I was actually working for a baseball team. I was doing IT for a baseball team. And my senior IT director spent tens of thousands of dollars on Magic the Gathering, right?
Oh yeah.
It is funny because he was such a serious guy. It was such a serious, no nonsense, large, you know what I'm saying? Short temper. And you didn't think that he was a card player, and literally spent to try and get his wife and daughter into the game. And then once they couldn't get into it, sold it off for way more money. You know what I'm saying? It was like an investment.
Yeah. There are a lot of people that treat Magic like an investment. Probably more than should exist. And here I am as somebody selling this stuff, but also being a new player and still thinking this shouldn't be your investment. This should not be your retirement fund.
I don't know.
The card that everybody knows, even if they don't play Magic, even if they're just related to video games, related to card games at all, the card everyone knows is the Black Lotus. Basically, it is one of the most powerful cards in the game. It has not been reprinted since 1994.
Wow.
Yes. It basically, Magic is a game of resources, and it basically gives you 3 free resources for no cost in terms of mana, basically. You use mana to cast cards, and it goes out for free. You get rid of it, and it immediately gives you 3 more mana to use. The lowest price on a Black Lotus, and I'm looking at it right now, the lowest price is $4,000.
$4,000?
Mm-hmm.
You could get a car from 96 for $4,000. You could just buy a car. Yeah.
The thing is, they're so rare, basically. These cards are essential, and that that $4,000 one apparently is not even legal.
How is it illegal?
Well, it's the I'm looking at it. It's some collector's edition version of the game, but apparently it's not legal because it has square edges and a non-standard back. So basically, if you were to play it without sleeves, you would be able to tell that this is the card because it has a different back.
Yeah.
But so the cheapest legal one that you can get is currently market price of $11,500. Now, the reason for them to be as expensive as they are is because, again, these were basically never printed past 93 or 94.
Yeah.
They were ludicrously powerful. They come from what's the sets that were known as limited edition alpha and beta. Mm-hmm. This was Wizards of the Coast, the creators of the game, back in 93, playtesting the game with friends over on the West Coast. And alpha and beta cards basically didn't really make their way outside that limited testing area. There was a run of them where it was larger scale once they knew that, okay, we're going to do something with this. But even that run is still pretty rare to get.
That is crazy. How how can I enter this economy? Like, where is the best way for me to start for getting to the board game Blerd? You know?
Well, the good thing with this one is the card isn't even legal to play with in terms of like you can have it, but it's only legal in one format, and that format already costs like $80,000 to build a deck for. So like you're not playing this card. It's the sort of thing that you never need to worry about ever owning or playing because you're never going to play it in paper. Like,
can I just buy, like, is there card packs that I can buy? Like I can buy card packs
absolutely.
that give me
Magic
random chances of.
Yeah, Magic still puts out plenty of boosters and stuff like that. I mean, they're putting out more product than they ever have, honestly. And like you can play the game. Like here we're talking about the highest price stuff, but like you can play the game in any way. There's a format called Pauper where the only cards that are allowed are the ones that are of common rarity. So it's a really low cost way to get into the game. There's a number of other things. Like we have some boosters called Jumpstart, where the idea is you take 20 card booster packs that you get out of the box there. You open them both up and you get a 40 card deck to play with right out of the box. And you can use those to play the game. Or if you just want to open up boosters of other stuff, like, yeah, you're not, if you're looking to do investment, there are better sets, I guess, to do. Mm-hmm. Like a new special set that came out recently had a ton of high value cards in it. And so the cost of the boosters was way too high, in my opinion. I was priced out from the beginning. But like, you know, even if you're playing the game, you can still get cards. I'm gonna show you. I can show you this one. Like this is a foil card from one of the more recent sets.
Yeah, Legendary Land. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And basically, it was.
Looks tight. Yeah, it looks tight.
The card is already very powerful, but this was like an alternative art and in foil. At the time I pulled it, it was somewhere around like $75 in terms of the value. And like I've thought about turning around and selling it, but I was like, you know what? I wanted this card to begin with. I only got one copy of it, and it's kind of the fun copy. So like, not everything is value. Not everything has to be value, and that's kind of the thing that ends up being fun with all this stuff. Is you can really. There's a format called Commander in there. Mm-hmm. It's a 100 card format where basically you choose one legendary creature to be your leader, commander, and you build a deck around that. And it allows you to really express some kind of like fun goal or whatever you want to with it.
Like building up the party, like building up a party in a team.
Sort of, yeah. Because like one of my friend plays a deck where the goal of it is to eventually get to a point where he wins the game by launching an infinite amount of squirrels at all the players on the game.
Just a barrage of squirrels? A never-ending barrage?
Yeah.
That is tight. That is tight. I saw that Silver Canon also does this thing that's new for me called acquisition of collectibles, where I guess a person can come in and be told how much their collection is worth.
Yeah.
Like, could you tell me how that works, and tell me about like the biggest acquisition that you guys have ever done? Like, this is tens of thousands of dollars type stuff. Like, does that happen on the regular?
Well, it hasn't happened much yet. What's happened? The idea is basically, to some extent, because we deal with a lot of pre-owned stuff. So collections that people have are kind of like our bread and butter. Mm-hmm. And so the idea would be that if somebody wants to sell a collection to us, we try to make it work. Basically, we try to help them sell it, and that could be either through I always forget the term. It's not it's commission, but there's a better term for it.
Yeah, like
consignment.
Yes, consignment.
Yeah. So there's that. But basically the idea would be that, yeah, you can come in and buy stuff, but some people, if they want to sell to us, that would be possible as well. Now, we haven't done too much of that at the moment because we are still a relatively new business, and staying afloat during all this difficult
COVID stuff. Yeah.
let me tell you, COVID has been a real a real bummer for us in terms of building this business up.
I would think that COVID would keep board game players from playing board games.
Yeah. Well, it's not just that. It's also our building is being doing construction and renovation, but the timelines have all been pushed back because of COVID. Yeah. Anyway, the acquisitions, yeah, people will be able to come in and do and sell to us. And then we've done a little bit. The biggest one that we did was last year. We went up to New Jersey. There was a seller and collector who was kind of liquidating a collection up there. And my boss, Jason, went up and talked to him, helped him out through the day, and basically struck a deal that it was like 1,800 games that were being sold or whatever. Now, we didn't get all of them, but we basically struck a deal to kind of get what was left over after the thing. And we came out with somewhere around like 800 games.
That's tight.
And packed them up all into a panel van and drove back. So we purchased that collection, and that's what's filling out our shelves a lot of the time. We've put up a lot of our own personal collections for sale to help this business grow. But a lot of the board games have come from that collection. We also did a large Magic the Gathering card collection buy around the same time that he originally propositioned me to do this business. And we came away with, the tens of thousands of cards. And now it's not all, valuable cards, but there was plenty of value to be found within. And I have, thousands of bulk cards available for people to come in and look at and play with if they need them.
That's tight. I don't know anything about board game stores or card game stores or card games for that much, but could you tell me why Silver Canon is special and your impact in the local Baltimore area? How you guys do outreach, whatever events.
So our motto is simply games are for everyone. I love that motto. The idea is a lot of game stores. People may have the idea that you got to be kind of in a certain area or whatever to do games. It can be expensive as a hobby. You might be priced out. But really, we want to reinforce the idea that there are games available for everybody of any age and price point. So we really we're striving to do that, to put forward that notion.
Beautiful stuff.
Mm-hmm. So we are currently trying to do more events. We are, in fact, later today doing one of our first board game events, just inviting people over. Unfortunately, I can't be there
because you got COVID.
Because I got COVID. I was going to finish this interview and go run my way over to the office and do it, but I can't now. But I've got, we're still it's still going on because it's more than just me out there. But so we're doing events. We're starting to do events, and the idea basically be, come by and $5, play some games.
Yeah.
Just basically a rental fee, essentially. Just something, play all day, whatever you want to do. Eventually, bring your own games. People might be even come do tabletop games, stuff like that.
Oh yeah, I'm trying to get on some Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, man. That's Shredder's Revenge.
Oh, yeah.
It's a great game. Game.
I heard it was really good.
I would actually swing by there. I recently moved out into the downtown Baltimore area. But again, I know nothing of board games. What would be a good board game for a casual gamer? You know what I'm saying? Should it be Pokemon? Should it be Magic? Is it one of the big three? Or is there some new stuff that I ain't never heard of?
Well, the card games themselves, I probably wouldn't. I mean, anyone can learn to play the card game, but it's that's a little bit more of an investment over time. The board games just sit down, you play it, and you're done. You don't have to do anything other than play that game. there's a few really good ones that are just kind of super casual to start. Like one of my roommate doesn't really like them too much, but we've played a few with him and such. There was one that I played that was called like Hues and Cues. Hues and cues like colors. Hue as the color, HUE. And cues, CUE. It's kind of hard to say over voice apparently. But it was really fun because the idea is basically there's a board with like a rainbow grid of colors on it, and you pick a card. It's got 4 different colors on it that match a square on the board, and you take that and you choose one color, and you have to tell people like what color you've chosen using like 2 words, and they have to take a guess. And they put pieces down, and they get points based on how close they were to your actual color. It was really simple, really easy, a lot of fun. For slightly more involved games, the classic that a lot of people talk about is Settlers of Catan, because it's a slight it's got some randomness to it. It has resource management. It has some deal making that you can do. So you need at least 3 players.
It's a lot like Monopoly.
A little, maybe, but a little bit different. I would say it's different enough from Monopoly.
Okay.
For one, it's probably more fun than Monopoly.
Yeah, like that's all I know of is like, you know what I'm saying? Like all I know is board games is like Scrabble and Monopoly. Like I'm stupid new to it, but I'm gonna check out those games. You say Q's and Hues?
Yeah, reverse, but yeah, Hues and Cues. But then there's also stuff like the other thing that people don't realize is that board games also come in cooperative forms as well. Like you versus the game. Now it sounds weird, but like the one that everybody kind of goes to, and it's for a good reason, ironically, is called Pandemic. Now this came out before the COVID and all that. It's been out for years. The idea is, it's you and up to 4 players in total are working to stop a global pandemic. And so the way that it's everybody versus the game is that there's like a stack of cards that every turn you have to flip one over, and sometimes a new outbreak occurs across the world. So everybody's working together. Everyone has a role. You have to move across the world to try and neutralize the virus. It's a lot of planning. It's strategic.
That's tight.
But it's all working together. And so you're sitting there working with everybody and just, okay, next turn, I'm going to go over here. You should go over there. Let's do this. And cooperative games are a complete genre of their own. And they can be a great way for people to get into it because you aren't competing with each other.
Yeah. PvE. I love it.
Exactly.
Hey, that's tight. Is there a rare game out there? Like, is there a tight, rare game that, like, I'm thinking of Hunter x Hunter. You know what I'm saying? You know how there was Greed Island, is there like a Greed Island type,
some real, like, hidden
Jumanji,
gem.
like Jumanji type game out there or something like.
Well, we have one called Nightmare. It was a game that came out in the 90s and was rebranded to something called like Atmosphere. Mm-hmm. It's a game where, again, it's kind of it's like half you versus the game, half you versus others. I haven't played it personally because it requires, it comes with a VHS tape. And the idea is you put the VHS tape in, and for the next hour or so, it runs. And you play the game while the tape is going. And at points, it'll stop you in the game on the tape and make you do things related to like what's going on in the board state and stuff like that.
That's fire.
Oh yeah. It sounds really fascinating. I tested the tape just to make sure it works, but I haven't sat down and played it. I don't know if it's not like ridiculously rare, but it is uncommon. Board games don't really have that much in terms of like super rare games. It's mostly uncommon stuff that you find because they're generally marketed, or like older stuff is generally mass marketed enough. What you find with modern games is they might be rare in the sense that there's not too many copies, but it's because a lot of modern board game production is made print to order. Stuff like Kickstarter is really big in the board game scene these days because they can make games to order for the people who want to play them. They don't have to take as huge a risk with it. So you might have less copies of stuff that come out now, but they're not necessarily rare because the people who wanted to play them already backed the Kickstarter.
Yeah. They've already made it clear that they bought the game. That they want
Exactly. Now there are a few, like we have a World of Warcraft board game that's uncommon. Like it's somewhere probably around $150 or something like that. It's big, it's bulky, but it's uncommon.
It's complex.
I assume so. I haven't tried to touch it. But in terms of like video games and stuff, that's kind of where we have you end up with higher rarity stuff. We had a game called Final Fight Guy, which was a Super Nintendo game.
Yeah.
It was rare because it was a Blockbuster exclusive. So basically, copies of this game only went into Blockbusters. And so to find them outside of Blockbuster means somebody had to rescue them out. Somebody had to not return the game, let's say. And so we had a copy of it in pretty decent condition. I want to say we sold it on eBay for somewhere around like $400 or more.
Tight.
But right now I have a copy of the rarest thing we have right now, and I guess the most valuable item we have at the store is actually a game that was mine for the Nintendo 64.
You have a game?
Yeah, for the Nintendo 64. It's called Bomberman 64: The Second Attack. It came out in 2000 and sold maybe like 50,000 copies in total. It's very rare. I have it actually complete in the box. So it has the box, it's got the manual and the game, and they're all in decent condition. That pushes the collector value up further. I've got it up. I haven't sold it. I don't anticipate selling it unless I put it online. But it's sitting in our case at the store, and I've got a price tag on it for $1,500.
$1,500.
If I put it online, I'd have to put it up even higher because eBay fees will take such a chunk out of it. But like, I was so surprised as you, believe me.
That's crazy.
I started looking around my collections like, what the heck?
It seems as if like in your opinion, would you say board games are more valuable than video games on the market as far as like selling them, or is it the other way around? Are video games more profitable? Like I know you guys sell both.
Other way around, absolutely. Video games command a much higher price point than board games. There is a lot more nostalgia for video games compared to board games.
Yeah.
Because people remember what they played when they were young. The things that are most expensive right now: Nintendo 64, GameCube, Game Boy Advance, some Nintendo DS. But the reason for that is because the generations move along. Everybody kind of gets older. And they think back, all right, what was around when I was 12?
Yep.
Everyone has nostalgia for when you were 12, basically. And when I was 12,
money.
It was the GameCube. Like that's just kind of how it is right now. GameCube games are way up in price overall. Not every single one, but there's a lot of stuff. Nintendo games, Nintendo published games, especially like their Marios, their Zeldas, their Metroids, etc. Those are all higher priced generally.
That is dope. Dope. Is there so say I'm trying to host like a party, right? Like, is there a board game that I could do with my wife, or a board game that I could have just like a lot of people over that would really be like, or a good drinking game? Like, I'm trying to get plastered with the homies. What's a good game? What's a good game that we could play?
Let's see. Well, you probably, if you want like large scale game stuff, you probably want some variety of like social deduction game. These are basically like, have you ever heard of like Mafia or Werewolf?
Yeah.
Yeah, that kind of stuff where it's like, it's a group, somebody, each have roles, and like you gotta hide your roles from people, and everybody's got to vote for like who is the antagonist going on in there. Mm-hmm. Stuff like that. There's a few other games that I've seen, and I think they still make some companies still make these sorts, but it's like murder mystery type games where everybody actually there was one that I saw, I don't remember the name of it, but the idea was basically prior to playing the game, you would tell everybody that's going to come to the party what you're going to play, and you send them things. You send them like roles and stuff, and the idea is everybody gets in character over it. So think the game Clue, except everybody's actually playing as a Clue character.
That's fire.
So you bring everybody up. You set up your house. Let's say you set up the rooms to actually be like, you know, have things going on in them. That's the idea. I don't know how well that works with a drinking game now, let's say, because you may want to be on point for that.
You're gonna have to weave the drinks in there.
You can kind of turn any game into like a little drinking game if you're clever enough, I suppose. But for those larger group settings, definitely like the social deduction category of games is definitely one to look into. Stuff like I said, Mafia. There's many different variants of Werewolf. A lot of that kind of thing. You want games that basically you got the player count goes from like 5 to 15 or something.
Yeah, like I want it to be like a board game party, like I want it to be like a true party setting. Coming up in closing, because my man got COVID, you know what I'm saying? I see you falling apart, you know what I'm saying? You a soldier, man. You a soldier for sticking up like that, man. Like,
I'm starting to feel it.
I know. I see you feeling it, man. I'm gonna let you go soon. I want to wrap things up. While you still got the strength. What are the plans of Silver Canon coming out? What other cool events? I know right now, today you have the $5 for board games all day. What other deal? When's the next time that's coming up for other people who want to do it? What other events do you have?
So basically, like we haven't finalized it, but essentially the $5 come in and play thing, I think is probably going to be extended just generally. Like you come in, you put down it's basically just a rental fee. But given that this was the first event, kind of set the baseline and be like, here's what we're going to do for the day. I honestly, I'd like to reach a point where any day, any weekend becomes these sorts of event days. Just have people come in and play the game. But we will, as we're establishing ourselves, we're going to do some more. Like I know there's interest from a friend of ours to host some like more complex board games, stuff that maybe not everyone's going to want to come and say, or they're going to want to do over multiple sessions. Let's say host some like Sunday games or something like that. But as we keep going forward, we're really just looking to get people to know that we exist and come on in and see what we have to offer, really. Like come by. If you have games, like bring them in and play them here with us. We love playing games as well. So like we're always interested. And we just want, we just want people to know that we're around, that they got another place that they can come and look at. Because I know that for not everyone's, there's another one game store in the city over in Canton, and then you got one south of the city and like another one north. But like kind of over in the western part of Baltimore, there's been nothing. So we're trying to fill that exactly.
And I think you guys are feeling that void. I think you guys are doing a great job. I'm going to swing by to your event later on today. I'm going to check it out. I know nothing of board games, but I might bring my Switch in there, and just play while it's going on and just absorb the atmosphere. Are there any homies that you want to shout out that might be affiliated with video games or animation or writing or poetry or music or the store or events or just anybody you want to shout out that folks should take a look into, that you would want to recommend, or just stuff you like this is tight, you should try this, you should try this game or my game or any old game or this thing?
Let's see.
My homie,
Well, for one, I'm just gonna shout out my best friend Andrew, because he's coming up from Northern Virginia as well right now to, in my stead, help volunteer to help with this event today. He plays with this stuff. He and his wife play board games as well. So like he was already going to come up, but I was like, my dude, I'm sick right now. Is there any way you can help out just a little bit? So I want to shout him out. Thank you, Andrew. You're a lifesaver. I'm sorry I didn't answer your phone call. I'm in the middle of this interview. I also want to shout out some friends of mine over on it's a website called Super Mario World Central.
Yeah.
They do fan game stuff for like old Mario games. And it's a lot of fun. I've been on that site for over a decade now. And I love those guys. And just there's just a lot of people that I know, mostly in the video game scene, but like I just hope that people come by, see our store, see what we have to offer. It's a little small right now. Building's not got the best AC going on in it because it's being converted. I apologize profusely, but I still hope that people can overlook that sort of thing and enjoy what we have to offer.
Absolutely.
Because I think what we're doing is a lot of fun. I really enjoy what we're up to, and I want to make this work. I want to be doing this for a while longer.
Man, like I love your resolve, man. I love that open arms, open community thing. Like I can't wait to try it out and see that openness and to learn more about that stuff, to learn
Absolutely.
more about that lucrative, awesome gaming world. You know what I'm saying? Like I really want to get in there, and I really want to also invite people out to your establishment. I'll definitely reach out to you again in the future and see if we can come up with like team up on stuff on future events and things like that.
Awesome.
It's been a huge pleasure to have you, Alex. And and my departing quote here is to make your ambitions come true, you have to take risks.
It's true. It's absolutely true. I had to come out here and take that risk, and well, here we are now.
Man, I respect you coming out there and chasing the dream and the entrepreneurship goal, dog. Like it's been awesome to have you. Please get better, man. Please get better. Hopefully you can get up some vitamins, man. Get some Caligula. Get some
I got like a whole handful of cough drops in here. I got like a box of tissues on the side. I got my water bottle. I got man.
Good, man. Hey, man. Like, I wish you the best 14 days, man. I wish you the best 14 days. I wish you a speedy recovery.
Yeah. Thank you.
I can't wait to see you in 3 weeks.
Yeah.
So definitely. I'm gonna go ahead and cut it. This is D and Alice. This is Co-Play Media, and we are out of here.
You've been listening to Co-Play Media with hosts Diers and Demo. For more information on Co-Play Media and the Blerd community, visit coplaymedia.com or the Co-Play Media page at dc.radio.gov.